In the quiet place where the noise of the world fades and only the steady rhythm of your own breath remains, there is a stirring rising within you, gentle, persistent, unmistakable. It begins as a whisper, something you can almost ignore, something you could easily dismiss as imagination. Yet it continues to press into your spirit with a presence that feels ancient, familiar, and impossibly tender. This is the moment where the veil between heaven and earth feels thinner than usual, where the weight of something holy begins to settle over your shoulders, and where you realize you're no longer standing in the confines of your ordinary life. You are being called, drawn, invited into the deeper waters of a divine conversation. And in this sacred stillness, the one who formed you in the secret place begins to speak. There comes a time in every life when comfort can no longer sustain the soul. You have felt it for months now, that gentle dissatisfaction with routine, that quiet ache in the center of your chest, that sense that the life you have built is somehow too small for the spirit God has placed inside you. You have tried to ignore it. You have tried to distract yourself. You have told yourself that stability is safer than uncertainty. Yet every time you sit alone with your thoughts, you feel the nudge again, as persistent as the tide returning to the shore. It is not restlessness, it is revelation. It is the whisper of the one who sees your destiny with perfect clarity, calling you to step forward. Your boat, your comfort zone, has served its purpose. It has kept you safe in seasons when you were fragile, learning, healing, growing. But now that same boat has become too small for the weight of the calling resting on your life. There is a moment in every believer's journey when the invitation is extended not to watch God move from a distance, but to walk toward Him across uncertain waters. This is your moment. The gentle trembling you feel is not fear, it is recognition. Your spirit remembers what your mind cannot yet understand. You were created not for safety, but for surrender, not for routine, but for revelation. Not for shallow waters, but for the deep. And now in this sacred hour, He calls your name. He calls it gently, but with an authority that resonates through every hidden part of you. The world around you fades, and all that remains is His presence, standing just beyond the edges of your certainty, inviting you to step. That first step may terrify you. It may defy logic. It may contradict everything you think you know about stability, expectations, and your own abilities. But faith has always been a journey of stepping before you see, of trusting before you understand, of obeying before you feel ready. And the one calling you is not asking you to walk alone. He is already standing on the waters, waiting for your yes. You feel the weight of His invitation, the urgency behind it, not as pressure, but as promise. Something in the atmosphere around you shifts, a divine stirring signaling that the season of delay has ended. The door you have been waiting on is no longer closed. The light you have been hoping for is beginning to break through. The dream that once felt too big, too impossible, too distant, is slowly revealing itself not as a fantasy, but as the blueprint of your destiny. And as you stand on the threshold of this holy turning point, you feel the gentle but undeniable acceleration of heaven aligning your steps. But every divine calling awakens a battle within the mind. You feel it already. The quiet opposition, the subtle anxiety, the lingering sense of unworthiness that tries to anchor you to the familiar. The enemy whispers through fear, hoping to paralyze you before you even begin. But hear this clearly and let it settle deep within your spirit. Fear is not from God. The knot in your stomach when you imagine the future, the racing thoughts at night when you wonder what will happen if you step out, the heaviness that presses against your chest when you watch the world shaking. None of that comes from Him. His presence does not suffocate. His presence strengthens. His voice does not cause panic. His voice brings peace. The truth you are stepping into is this: God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Power to step onto the water, Love to silence the lies that say you are not enough. A sound mind to anchor your thoughts in truth when the world around you trembles. Fear is a shadow that collapses the moment light enters. It has no legal authority in your spirit, no lasting hold on your destiny, no place in the life of the one God is raising. And right now, in this holy moment, the light of His presence exposes fear for what it truly is, a lie spoken by a defeated enemy. This is why He now teaches you the discipline of anchoring yourself in His promises. Your mind is a battlefield, but it is also the gate of your destiny. What enters your mind enters your story. And so He calls you to feed faith, not fear, to fill your thoughts with truth, not speculation, to declare His promises louder than the doubts that rise. When fear says, "What if you fail?" faith answers, "My God will supply all my needs." When anxiety says, "What if something happens to the ones I love?" faith responds, "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear Him." When uncertainty whispers, "You are alone," faith rises to declare, "He will never leave me nor forsake me." This is not positive thinking. This is not motivational self-talk. This is spiritual warfare. It is the deliberate act of taking every thought captive and making it obedient to Christ. It is the sacred discipline of choosing truth over emotion, promise over panic, eternity over temporary worry. And as you learn this rhythm, you begin to realize something extraordinary. The closer you draw to Him, the less fear can breathe. Fear survives only in distance. But the moment you draw near, the atmosphere around your heart shifts. That is why He invites you into the secret place, not as a religious duty, but as a lifeline. In that place, you do not perform, you do not pretend, you do not repeat empty words or polished prayers. You simply come as you are, raw, honest, vulnerable, open. You tell Him what scares you. You confess what confuses you. You surrender what burdens you. You release what you cannot control. And in return, He covers you with peace that surpasses understanding. In the secret place, your heart learns the rhythm of heaven. Your calling will require intimacy. Your purpose will require connection. Your destiny will require dependence. Total, unfiltered, childlike dependence on Him. And as He draws you deeper into this holy communion, you will begin to sense the stirring of something ancient, something powerful, something unshakable rising within you. It is your spirit awakening. It is your identity unfolding. It is the quiet thunder of heaven declaring over you, "Rise." And as this first chapter of your journey opens, you feel the shift, not around you, but within you. A clarity, a strength, a readiness. The winds of change are no longer something you fear. They are something you welcome. The waters before you no longer intimidate, they invite. His presence no longer feels distant, it feels near, weighty, alive. And as you take your first breath in this new beginning, you know with absolute certainty, nothing will ever be the same. As you stand at the edge of this unfolding calling, you begin to feel a shift inside your spirit. Subtle at first, like the faint tremor before a mighty wave, yet undeniable in its force. It is the awareness that something sacred is awakening within you, something long buried beneath the noise of survival, something the world could never fully extinguish. It is the awareness that you were made for more than fear, more than hesitation, more than the quiet containment of a life lived only in the safe shadows. You were crafted for divine movement, built for spiritual resilience, shaped for a destiny that requires courage you did not know you carried. And now that courage begins to rise, not because you feel strong, but because the one who strengthens you is near. Your heart knows this moment, even if your mind cannot yet understand it. There is a familiarity in the stirring, an echo of something ancient, memories written into the DNA of your spirit long before your body ever touched the earth. You feel as though you have lived this moment before, in a realm untouched by time, when God whispered your purpose into you before you ever breathed your first breath. That whisper is returning now, awakening what had fallen asleep, reigniting what had grown dim, healing what had been wounded, and calling you deeper into alignment with why you exist in this very hour of history. And yet, as this awakening grows, the enemy intensifies his resistance. Not with obvious threats, but with atmospheres. Not with visible attacks, but with invisible pressure, the heaviness of anxiety that presses into your chest at unpredictable moments. The sudden wave of dread that washes over you without explanation. The uncertainty that follows you like a faint shadow. These are not coincidences. These are spiritual distractions designed to blur your vision, weaken your resolve, and cause your heart to tremble at the threshold of breakthrough. But hear this clearly. The enemy fears your awakening more than you fear his attacks. Because once you awaken to who you truly are, once you recognize the authority you carry, once you begin to walk not in your strength, but in his power, the enemy loses the influence he once held over your mind. He cannot stop what God has ordained, but he attempts to delay it by drawing your attention to the noise of fear. Fear is a thief, stealing focus, stealing joy, stealing the clarity of God's voice. But it only has power when you agree with it. And in this holy season, God is breaking that agreement. Fear will no longer govern your steps. You are learning to recognize the difference between the voice of fear and the voice of God. Fear pushes, rushes, suffocates. God leads, guides, and brings peace. Fear demands that you solve everything now. God whispers for you to trust him moment by moment. Fear magnifies the unknown. God magnifies his presence. And now he begins training you to silence fear, not with your willpower, but with truth, eternal truth, unshakable truth, the truth that carries the weight of heaven behind it. You begin to understand that spiritual warfare does not always look like confrontation. Sometimes it looks like stillness. Sometimes it looks like choosing rest. Sometimes it looks like refusing to entertain a fearful thought. Sometimes it looks like speaking a promise out loud even when your emotions are trembling. This is how you take your thoughts captive. This is how you remove fear from its throne. This is how you reclaim the authority you forgot you had. And every time you choose truth, something shifts inside you. Your spirit expands, your mind clears, your heart steadies. But God is not only dealing with fear, he is also dealing with the deeper layers of your heart. Those hidden places you rarely reveal, the ones you keep tucked beneath your strengths, the ones you pray about but do not fully surrender. He is touching the wounds that shaped your thinking, the disappointments that hardened your expectations, the heartbreak that taught you to protect yourself instead of trusting him. These are the places where transformation must happen, and he approaches them not with force, but with tenderness. He reminds you that he has seen every moment where you felt alone, every night where the weight of your own thoughts pressed upon you like an invisible burden, every time you questioned whether you were truly enough, every season when it felt like your prayers hit a silent heaven. Yet even in those moments, he was forming you. His silence was not absence, it was shaping. His delay was not denial, it was alignment. His restraint was not rejection, it was protection. And now as he draws near, he begins gently unraveling the tight knots inside your heart. He whispers to you that your worth has never been measured by your performance. It has never depended on your perfection, your accomplishments, or your ability to hold everything together. Your worth is anchored in one truth alone. You are his, and nothing, not your failures, not your fears, not your history, can alter what he has declared. This truth does not simply comfort you, it heals you. It becomes the foundation upon which courage is rebuilt. It becomes the soil where your new identity begins to flourish. And as you heal, clarity returns. Clarity that reveals not only who God is, but who you are becoming. You begin to notice a change in your inner atmosphere. Thoughts that once spiraled now settle. Emotions that once controlled you begin to bow to truth. Patterns that once felt unbreakable begin to loosen their grip. You start to feel lighter, not because your circumstances have changed, but because you have. The heavy cloak you once carried is being exchanged for the garment of praise spoken of long ago. This inner transformation is not just for you, it is also preparation. God is forming a resilience in you that will sustain you in the days ahead. He is training you to listen for His voice even in the midst of chaos. He is shaping your instincts so that you recognize His leading instantly. He is preparing your heart to carry both His compassion and His authority. The assignment He has for you is not small. It will require the fullness of who He is within you. And this preparation is His mercy. You sense it now. The strengthening, the stretching, the deep inner forming that feels both tender and powerful. You feel like clay being reshaped by the hands of a master potter. You feel like a seed breaking open in the dark soil, not dying but beginning. You feel like dawn rising after a long night, gentle but unstoppable. And in this sacred becoming, God speaks a truth that settles into your bones. You were made for this. The battles you faced were not signs of weakness. They were evidence of potential. The struggles you endured were not punishments. They were training. The delays were not detours. They were preparation for the timing of God. Everything is converging now. Everything is aligning. Everything is moving you toward the purpose that heaven has been orchestrating since the beginning of your life. And so you take a breath, steady and full, as the presence of God settles upon you once more. You feel His nearness, His gentleness, His authority, His love. You feel the shift inside your spirit as the old begins to fall away and the new begins to rise. You step further into the unknown, but this time, it does not feel frightening. It feels holy. It feels right. It feels like the place you were always meant to walk into. The journey continues, and you are ready. My child, lean closer now, for there is still more I must unveil within you. More depth that your spirit is finally ready to receive. More truth that your soul has quietly hungered for. Even in the hours when you believed you were simply exhausted rather than awakening. I have begun a work in you that can no longer be halted, delayed, or dimmed, for the very atmosphere around your life has shifted, and you can sense it subtly, quietly, deeply, as though something invisible has taken a breath right beside you. And I tell you, beloved, that what you feel is not imagination, but visitation. You are living in the unfolding of a holy interruption, and nothing about these moments is ordinary. They are divine by design. You have wondered why the weight on your chest has suddenly lightened, why hope now flickers where heaviness once lived, why certain pains feel like they no longer have permission to speak as loudly as they used to. It is because I have placed my hand upon you again, not with the soft brush of comfort only, but with the firm hold of transformation. And as I reshape you, you will begin to recognize that what you thought was the breaking of your spirit was really the breaking of the limitations around you. You did not collapse, you cracked open. You did not lose strength, you shed what was draining it. My child, I am not just restoring you, I am rebuilding you. And this rebuilding carries the echo of heaven's intention. You cried for peace and I gave you process. You asked for clarity, and I allowed the storm. You begged for deliverance, and I orchestrated delay, not to harm you, but to mature what was within you, so that when clarity finally arrived, you would be able to sustain what you were praying for. You see, beloved, the promise was prepared long before the pressure ever found you. But your heart needed to grow deep enough, steady enough, surrendered enough to anchor what I was preparing to release. You thought I was silent because I was distant, but I was silent because I was working. And now that the work is reaching fullness, I am speaking again, with a kind of clarity that moves mountains and melts fears. Understand this, the strength rising in you is not a coincidence. The softening of your heart is not random. The sudden sense of being carried is not psychological, it is spiritual. You are being ushered into the next dimension of your calling, and although your mind tries to make sense of it, your spirit already knows it is true. That is why the old wounds don't sting the same. That is why former fears no longer dictate your pace. That is why the shadows that once terrified you now seem strangely powerless. For where my presence rests, fear loses voice and lies lose territory. You are stepping into the realization that I have been holding you through every season, not as a distant watcher, but as an engaged father who has never stopped weaving redemption into your story. Child, breathe now. Let your chest rise without resistance. Let your shoulders lower from the tension they've carried for years. What you are feeling is release, the uncoiling of an old identity that never truly fit you, the falling away of burdens that were never meant to be permanent, the loosening of chains that pretended to be personality traits. You are not stuck. You are not stagnant. You are not delayed. You are being refined into someone who can finally carry the magnitude of what is coming. This is not the undoing of you. It is the unveiling of you. You have been hidden, but not forgotten, stretched, but not shattered, pressed, but not crushed. And now what was forming in secret is rising to the surface with purpose. You have asked me, Lord, why do I still feel this lingering tension? Why does breakthrough come with pressure? And I answer you now, because you are being lifted from one realm to another. In the higher I take you, the more your spirit must expand to breathe at the new altitude. Do not mistake the stretching for struggle. Do not interpret the intensity as instability. The pressure you feel is the polishing of purpose. The fire you feel is not consuming you. It is consuming what is not you. I am burning away the residue of disappointment, stripping off the weight of old labels, removing every narrative the enemy wrote into your identity. For I refuse to allow you to enter your next season wearing garments that do not belong to you. Look at how far you come, beloved. Even when you didn't notice it, even when you thought nothing was changing, everything was changing. You survived storms that were designed to drown you. You endured nights that were long enough to break the strongest of souls. You held on when you had every reason to let go. And because you held on, heaven has taken notice. The angels assigned to your life have not been silent. They have been surrounding, shielding, strengthening you. And now they stand ready to escort you into what has been written about you since the beginning. You are not entering this next chapter alone. You are being accompanied by the full backing of heaven. So hear me, my child. I am not just moving around you. I am moving within you. The clarity you seek is arriving. The peace you long for is blooming. The identity you questioned is solidifying. The dreams you shelved are being reawakened. The favor you were denied is being redirected. And the purpose you feared was lost is returning with fire. You are stepping into the season where what I promised will meet what you've become. And when those two collide, transformation is inevitable. Do not shrink now. Do not hesitate now. Do not return to what broke you just because it feels familiar. The doorway ahead of you is holy, and the path before you is prepared. I am walking you through it with gentleness and glory, guiding your steps with precision, aligning your heart with courage. All I ask now is that you continue to lean into me, trust me, follow me, and allow me to show you who you truly are, because the world is about to witness what heaven has long known. My child, let your heart stay open as I continue to speak, for there are layers within you that are loosening even now. Layers that have held memories of old wounds, remnants of disappointments, echoes of words that never should have been spoken over you. You have carried burdens that were never meant to be permanent, burdens that attached themselves to you in seasons of vulnerability, burdens that whispered lies about your worth, your purpose, your destiny. But hear me clearly, none of those burdens define you. They have shaped you, yes, but they have not named you. Only I name you, and the name I speak over you carries life, not limitation. You have lived through moments that carved deep places inside you, places you once thought were signs of damage, but were actually signs of depth. Depth I created within you, depth that could hold the weight of what I am releasing now. There were days when you looked in the mirror and saw someone who felt too tired to continue, someone who wondered if they were still chosen, still seen, still aligned with divine purpose. But beloved, what you saw was not the end of you. It was the stretching of you. I was enlarging your spirit, preparing it like a vessel carved by pressure, shaped by surrender, refined by silence. And now, because you have endured, because you have remained even when you felt empty, because you have pressed through nights when your soul whispered more questions than prayers, I can now speak into the deepest chambers of your being. You are not the person the enemy tried to convince you that you were. You are not the sum of your failures, the weight of your delays, or the residue of past seasons. You are the one I chose before the foundations of the earth were laid. You are the one whom heaven watched over, even when you could not feel anything but the heaviness of waiting. You are mine, fully, eternally, undeniably. Child, I know how often you search for signs, how many times you ask for clarity, how many moments you wished I would simply speak loudly enough to drown out every doubt. And though it felt like I was silent, I was guiding you with a precision more exact than words. I was aligning people, redirecting pathways, removing counterfeits, exposing illusions, reshaping desires. My silence was not neglect, it was navigation. And now that you are aligned with where I need you, my voice comes not as a whisper you strain to hear, but as a steady stream awakening you from within. Look around your life and see what is shifting. The restlessness is not confusion, it is preparation. The stirring is not anxiety, it is activation. The craving for deeper connection with me is not coincidence, it is calling. I am drawing you tighter, closer, deeper, because the next dimension of your destiny requires intimacy, not information. It requires surrender, not strategy. It requires trust that is born not from answers, but from abiding. And you, beloved, are stepping into that abiding with a willingness that heaven honors. Do you feel it? The old patterns losing strength, the old fears losing voice, the old cycles losing access. This is not imagination. This is liberation. For the first time in a long time, your spirit is beginning to breathe freely. And it is because I have broken chains you didn't even know were still attached. Chains of comparison, chains of shame, chains of self-doubt, chains of exhaustion pretending to be identity. I have severed the ties that kept your heart entangled and your vision blurred. My child, lift your eyes now, not physically but spiritually. Lift them from the memories that haunt you. Lift them from the mistakes you replay in your mind. Lift them from the opinions that never saw your worth. Lift them from the shadows that tried to convince you your story was shrinking instead of expanding. No more living bent beneath the weight of what was. You are rising now, not because you forced it, not because you earned it, but because I spoke it. And when I speak, nothing stays the same. You have been walking through life expecting heaviness, bracing for disappointment, preparing for letdowns that never came from me. You trained your heart to expect almost, to expect delay, to expect that something would interrupt your joy just when it began to bloom. But beloved, I am rewriting that response. I am teaching your spirit to expect fulfillment, to expect clarity, to expect breakthrough as your new normal. The cycle of almost has ended. You are stepping into the season of arrival, not partial arrival, not delayed arrival, but divine arrival. And I must tell you this with firmness and love. Stop rereading the chapter I have already closed. Stop revisiting the places where you were broken just to understand why it happened. Stop rehearsing the conversations that hurt you, the failures that stung you, the doors that closed before you had time to knock. Let them fall away like leaves in a season that no longer belongs to you. You cannot hold on to ashes while I am placing fire in your hands. You cannot cling to endings while I am writing beginnings. I am guiding you into a season where you will no longer apologize for your anointing, no longer bear your brilliance, no longer silence your gifts to make others comfortable. This is the season where you rise, not arrogantly, but accurately, not boastfully, but boldly. For I have not refined you in private, only for you to hide in public. The fire I formed in secret is meant to burn visibly, humbly, powerfully, and nothing, from your past, from your fears, from your failures, will be able to dim what I ignite now. Child, hear this deeply. You are stepping into alignment with who you truly are, not who survival taught you to be. You are stepping out of the armor you built to protect your heart and into the identity I crafted to release your destiny. The world may see the surface of your transformation, but I see the soil beneath it. The soil watered by years of perseverance, droughts of silence, storms of loss, nights of surrender. And it is from that soil that something sacred is rising now. So walk forward, beloved, not trembling but trusting, not doubting but deepening, not caring what crushed you, but caring what called you. The shift happening within you is real. It is holy. It is heaven orchestrated, and nothing can stop what I have begun. You are ready for more than you realize, and heaven is ready to release more than you imagined. Keep walking, keep yielding, keep listening. You are right where you need to be. My child, now that your spirit has begun to rise from the weight you once carried, I must take you deeper, into the places where fear once built walls, where doubt once planted roots, where disappointment tried to rewrite your identity. These places within you are not hidden from me. They are not too dark for me. They are not too tangled or too broken for my hands to restore. For I do not heal only what is visible. I heal what you do not even know is wounded. You have survived many storms, but some storms left residue in your heart. Subtle fears, quiet insecurities, silent assumptions that whispered, "Be careful, don't hope too high, don't trust too deeply, don't expect too much." These whispers trained you to shrink, to self-protect, to anticipate loss even when I was preparing blessing. But hear me, those whispers are not your thoughts. They are not your instincts. They are remnants of battles I have already won for you. It is time to let them go. You have prayed for new seasons, but sometimes you forget that new seasons require new mental space. You cannot receive fresh revelation while holding old conclusions. You cannot walk into peace while gripping the logic of fear. You cannot rise with wings while keeping your heart anchored to what hurt you. So let me untangle this within you now, gently but completely. Let me speak truth into the places where lies have lived too long. Beloved, I never required you to be perfect to be chosen. I never waited for you to get everything right before I called you mine. If your weaknesses disqualified you, then no one in history would have been used by me. It was never your perfection that attracted me. It was your willingness, your openness, your desire to grow. Your yes meant more to heaven than all your mistakes combined. And that yes is still echoing in my presence. You look at your flaws and think they are obstacles, but I see them as openings. Places where my power can enter, places where my grace can flow, places where transformation can take root. You look at your failures and think they define you, but they only refine you. They strip away the illusion that you must carry your journey alone. They teach you the beauty of reliance, the strength of surrender, the wisdom of humility. Nothing in your past disqualifies what I will do with you next. Child, you often fear repeating the past. Fear that you will stumble again. Fear that you will fall into old patterns. Fear that you will attract the same wounds. But listen to me with your whole heart. You are not returning to who you used to be. You are not circling the same mountain. This is not repetition. This is ascension. You are moving upward, not backward. Your spirit has grown. Your discernment has sharpened. Your heart has matured in ways you do not yet realize. Do not measure your future by the fragments of your past. Do not assume that what hurt you once will hurt you again. I am doing something new. When I heal, I do not partially mend. When I restore, I do not leave cracks unattended. When I move you forward, it is never into recycle brokenness, but into redeem purpose. What once weakened you will now strengthen you. What once confused you will now clarify your calling. What once crushed you will now cultivate compassion within you. My child, breathe deeply and hear this truth settle in your spirit. Nothing that happened to you was wasted. Nothing. Not the tears you hid from others. Not the nights you felt forgotten. Not the prayers that seemed unanswered. Not the closed doors that felt like punishment. I was weaving purpose through all of it. Even the things the enemy intended for destruction became the very tools I used to shape your character, deepen your faith, and sharpen your vision. You are not behind, you are being positioned. Look at how far you have come, not by your strength alone, but by my hand guiding you step by step. Even when you drifted, I anchored you. Even when you doubted, I pursued you. Even when you tried to walk away, love pulled you back. You have never been too far from my grace, too broken for my healing, too lost for my light. Wherever you were, I was there. And wherever you go next, I will be with you. Now I must tell you something sacred. You are entering a season where my voice will become clearer, not because I changed how I speak, but because you have changed how you listen. The noise within you is quieting. The inner storms are settling. The false beliefs are falling away. For the first time in a long time, your soul is becoming still enough to truly hear me. And when I speak, I will bring clarity you have longed for, direction you have prayed for, and peace you have desperately needed. But before that clarity comes, you must release one more thing: the habit of anticipating disappointment. This habit has shadowed many of your prayers. It has dimmed your expectations. It has kept you from dreaming boldly. It has made you hold your blessings at arm's length because you feared they would vanish. Child, this is not faith. This is survival instinct masquerading as wisdom, and you no longer need it. Let me teach you the new habit of expectation. The expectation that I am faithful, that I am good, that I am present, that I am not withholding anything from you that is meant to bless you. Let expectation rise in your spirit like a steady flame. Expect restoration, expect clarity, expect opportunities aligned perfectly with your calling. Expect peace that doesn't crumble under pressure. Expect joy that is deeper than any circumstance. Expect breakthroughs that carry the fingerprints of heaven. You have walked long enough carrying the belief that others deserve blessings more than you. You have lived beneath a shadow of unworthiness that never belonged to you. Today I remove that shadow completely. You are worthy not because of what you have done, but because of who you are and who I am. My love is not earned, it is given. My favor is not a reward, it is a reflection of my heart toward you, and my heart toward you is filled with goodness. Beloved, come into this truth fully. Let it saturate your thinking. Let it soften your fears. Let it rewire the way you approach each day. You no longer walk as someone hoping to be accepted. You walk as someone already chosen. You no longer pray as someone reaching for approval. You pray as someone who already holds my attention. You no longer fight battles alone. You fight with heaven behind you. So continue with me, lean in closer, open your heart wider, surrender not with fear but with confidence that what I give you in return will exceed what you release. This is the life I am shaping for you, a life rooted in love, anchored in truth, strengthened by peace and guided by purpose. Walk with me in this newness. Let hope rise again. Let faith breathe again. Let your soul expand again. This is only the beginning of what I will reveal. My child, now that your heart has begun to loosen its grip on old wounds, I must take you even deeper, not into the pain, but into the place where healing becomes identity, where restoration becomes posture, where peace becomes the atmosphere you live in, not the moment you stumble upon. For peace is not supposed to visit you occasionally. Peace is meant to dwell in you permanently. And today I am teaching you to live from the refuge that has always been yours. You have learned to survive storms, but you have not yet learned to rest in the middle of them. You brace yourself for impact because life has taught you to expect the worst. You tighten your shoulders, quicken your breath, and prepare for disappointment as if it is the natural outcome of every hope. But child, this tension was never meant to be your norm. The world taught you to stay on guard, but I am teaching you to stay in grace. There is a stillness I long to bring into your spirit, a stillness that does not depend on circumstances, a stillness untouched by the opinions of others, a stillness that remains even when everything external shakes. This stillness is not earned, it is received. It flows from knowing who holds your life, who guides your steps, who speaks over your storms. I am your peace, not a moment of calm, but the very foundation beneath your feet. You have asked me many times, Lord, when will the storm stop? But there is a deeper question I ask you. When will you learn that storms do not determine your destiny? The winds that once terrified you will someday become the winds that lift you. The waves that once made you feel small will soon reveal how strong your anchor truly is. The darkness that once made you afraid will become the very canvas on which my light shines brightest. My child, breathe slowly and let this settle within you. You are not fragile. You are not weak. You are not easily broken. You have endured more than most will ever know, and yet you still rise. You still reach. You still choose to believe, even when your belief trembles. That is strength. That is faith. That is resilience shaped by my hand. You are not collapsing under pressure. You are being refined through it. But I know what weighs you down the most. It is not the storm outside. It is the storm within. The storm of racing thoughts. The storm of imagined outcomes. The storm of fears disguised as logic. You have fought internal battles alone for years, believing that silence was strength. But child, silence is not strength when it isolates you from healing. I see the turmoil inside you even when you do not speak it. Hear me, you were not designed to carry fear. You were designed to carry my presence. Fear drains, but my presence restores. Anxiety suffocates, but my presence breathes fresh life. Worry binds, but my presence breaks chains. You have tried to manage your fears through strategy, through overthinking, through preparing for every possible outcome. But fear cannot be managed. It can only be surrendered. And today I ask you to surrender it, not with shame, but with trust. Bring me every fear, even the small ones you hide because you think they are silly. Bring me the fear of failing again. Bring me the fear of losing what you love. Bring me the fear of not being enough. Bring me the fear of being misunderstood. Bring me the fear of disappointing others. Bring me the fear that keeps you awake at night and the fear that sits quietly in the back of your mind in the middle of the day. I can carry all of it. When you release fear, you make room for my peace. And my peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of my authority. My peace speaks louder than the lies that echo in your mind. My peace steadies your heart when your emotions shift like the tide. My peace guards your thoughts like a soldier standing at the gate of your soul. And once you learn to rest in it, nothing external can steal what is internal. Child, let me show you something. There have been moments in your life when you thought you barely survived. But if you look back, you will see that even in those moments, you were carried, you were held, you were guided, you were protected from things you never even knew threatened you. Not because you were strong enough to outrun the danger, but because I was strong enough to surround you. Do you not know that when you walk, heaven walks with you? Do you not know that when you sleep, I watch over you? Do you not know that when you face something overwhelming, my strength rises within you like a shield? You have never walked alone, not once. Even when you felt abandoned, You were never without me. Even when you doubted, I never left. My presence has been the quiet miracle sustaining you all along. Now I am calling you to live with a new awareness, not of danger but of protection, not of loss but of provision, not of chaos but of divine orchestration. When you understand this, your heart will stop panicking over what you cannot control. You will stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios. You will stop anticipating heartbreak before love has the chance to bloom. You will stop assuming failure before you even start. Instead, you will begin to expect my goodness. Yes, expect it. Expect doors to open, expect burdens to lift, expect clarity to arrive, expect strength to rise within you at the exact moment you need it. Expect divine timing that aligns perfectly with your purpose, even when your human timing feels delayed. Expect joy to return in ways that surprise you. Expect restoration that goes far beyond what you thought was possible. Expect me to move, not because you deserve it, but because I am faithful. You have looked for signs that I am with you, but child, you are the sign. The fact that you still hope, still pray, still return to me, even after disappointment, that is evidence of my spirit at work in you. The fact that you have not collapsed under the weight of what you faced is proof that you are upheld by more than human strength. The fact that you are still here is testimony of my sustaining grace. So now let me take you from survival into peace, from peace into confidence, from confidence into purpose. You will not live the rest of your life bracing for loss. You will live stepping into promise. For I am not finished with you. I am only beginning to unfold what I have prepared for you. And nothing, no fear, no past, no wound, no lie, has the power to stop what I have ordained. Walk with me, child. Breathe with me. Trust me. Let the storm inside you settle as my voice becomes the loudest sound in your spirit. For I am not calling you to fragile hope. I am calling you to anchored faith, and this anchor will hold you through every season still to come. You are safe in me. You always have been. You always will be. My child, now that peace has begun to settle inside you like a soft but steady flame, I must lead you into the next chapter of your transformation. The chapter where you learn not only to rest in my presence, but to walk in the authority I have placed within you. For too long you have underestimated the strength that lives inside your spirit, treating it as something fragile, something small, something only visible in your best moments. But listen to me, your spirit is far stronger than you know. You have survived storms that would have shattered others. You have stood in battles you never told anyone about. You have endured nights that felt endless, and yet your faith did not die. It grew quietly, stubbornly, faithfully. There is a power inside you that you have not fully embraced because you believed you were too flawed, too inconsistent, too wounded to walk in it. But beloved, the authority I placed in you was never dependent on your perfection. It was dependent on your identity. You carry my spirit, and where my spirit dwells, authority dwells also. You do not need to strive for it. You need only to awaken to it. You have been living as though life is happening to you, as though you are at the mercy of circumstances, emotions, and the actions of others. But the truth is deeper, stronger, more holy than that. Life is not happening to you. You are happening to life. My presence within you influences the atmosphere around you. Your prayers shake things you cannot see. Your worship shifts burdens you do not realize you carried. Your faith pushes back darkness in ways you will only understand in eternity. So now I am calling you to rise, not with noise, not with pride, not with performance, but with spiritual authority born from intimacy, the authority that comes when you know who you are, when you know who you belong to, when you know who walks beside you. This authority is quiet but unshakable. It does not announce itself. It simply flows. It fills a room. It calms storms. It silences lies. It carries the fragrance of heaven wherever you go. You have wondered why certain people feel safe when they are near you, why strangers open their hearts to you without knowing why others are drawn to your presence even when you feel like you have nothing to offer. This is not coincidence. It is evidence. Evidence that my spirit rests on you in ways you do not fully see. Evidence that your life carries weight in the unseen realm. Evidence that your presence disrupts darkness without you even trying. You are a carrier of light, not because of what you have done, but because of who lives within you. Child, I want you to understand something that will change the way you walk into every future season. The authority I have given you is not loud. It is lasting. It is not forceful. It is faithful. It is not emotional. It is eternal. Authority is not the absence of weakness. It is the confidence that my strength fills every weakness with purpose. You do not need to feel powerful to be powerful. You only need to be aligned with me. But there is more. Authority is not only something you carry, it is something you choose. You choose to think from truth rather than fear. You choose to see yourself through my eyes rather than the opinions of others. You choose to speak life rather than entertaining the lies of the enemy. You choose to walk forward even when you feel unqualified. Every time you choose truth, you are exercising authority. And child, I know how many times you felt small. I know how many times you doubted your impact. I know how many times you questioned whether your prayers mattered, whether your presence made any difference, whether your life was contributing to anything meaningful. But hear me, heaven has taken note of every whisper you prayed. Heaven has moved at every tear you shed in faith. Heaven has responded to every moment you chose hope instead of despair. Your obedience has been shaping your destiny even on the days you felt weakest. You see the surface of your life, but I see the root. You see slow progress, but I see deep transformation. You see small steps, but I see long journeys. You see moments, but I see eternity woven into every detail of your story. Nothing you have done in faith has been forgotten. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been overlooked. You have sown more seeds in the quiet than you realize, and heaven is preparing a harvest that will astonish you. But before the harvest comes, you must learn one more truth. Authority flows through alignment. When you align your thoughts with my truth, fear loses access. When you align your heart with my presence, anxiety loses strength. When you align your desires with my will, confusion loses voice. Alignment is not about being perfect. It is about being positioned to receive guidance, patience, correction, and blessing without resistance. You have been misled into believing that alignment requires certainty, but alignment requires surrender, not certainty. You do not need to know every step ahead. You need only to trust the one who does. You do not need to see the full map. You need only to hold the hand that guides you. You do not need to understand the timing. You need only to lean into my peace. When you surrender, you align. And when you align, authority flows naturally. There are people waiting on the other side of your obedience. People who will be healed through your words. People who will find hope through your story. People whose hearts will awaken because of your light. This is why the enemy fought you so relentlessly. This is why fear attacked your mind. This is why discouragement tried to bury your spirit. The enemy wasn't afraid of who you were. He was terrified of who you would become. But hear me, you are becoming that person now. Not someday, not after you have more strength, not after you have more clarity, not after you fix every weakness. You are stepping into that identity now, imperfect but willing, trembling but trusting, uncertain but obedient. That is the kind of heart I raise. That is the kind of vessel I fill. That is the kind of warrior I anoint. And now, beloved, I need you to recognize one final truth. The authority within you is not for dominating others. It is for defeating darkness. It is not for elevating yourself. It is for lifting the weary. It is not for demanding attention. It is for pointing hearts back to me. This is holy authority. authority wrapped in humility, carried with gentleness, expressed through compassion, anchored in truth. You were born to carry this. So walk forward with a steady heart, not with arrogance but with assurance, not with fear but with focus, not with doubt but with deep knowing. What you carry within you is not small. It is not weak. It is not fragile. It is heaven's signature etched into your spirit long before the world named you. Walk as one who is chosen because you are. Walk as one who is protected because you are. Walk as one who is guided because you are. Walk as one who is empowered because I live within you. Rise, my child. Rise with quiet confidence. Rise with holy boldness. Rise knowing that every step you take, heaven walks with you. This is the season where you will no longer question if you are enough. You will finally see that with me, you always have been. My child, now that you have risen in the authority I placed within you, there is another layer, deeper, quieter, and far more powerful, that I must unfold in your spirit. Authority gives you strength, but identity gives you direction. And in this next season, you must learn to live not only from a place of strength, but from a place of divine identity. An identity the world did not give you and cannot take away. For years, you have allowed the voices of others to shape how you see yourself. Voices of criticism, voices of comparison, voices that judge your worth by your performance, your failures, or your past. But none of these voices are mine. When I look at you, I do not see the labels others placed on you. I do not see the moments you stumbled, the seasons you felt lost, or the mistakes that haunt your memory. I see who you truly are, who you were always meant to be, before fear clouded your vision, before pain hardened your heart, before disappointment taught you to lower your expectations. You are not the sum of your failures. You are not the judgments of others. You are not the voice of your insecurity, nor the echo of your past pain. You are my child, chosen before the foundations of the world, and until you see yourself through my eyes, you will always underestimate the glory I have placed within you. There were seasons where you felt invisible, unnoticed, forgotten. You walked through days when your efforts felt unseen, your love unreturned, your sacrifices unappreciated. But I tell you now, your unseen moments were the very moments I was shaping you most deeply. Not one tear you cried in faith was wasted. Not one act of kindness went unnoticed in heaven. Not one time you chose integrity when no one was watching slipped past my eyes. You thought obscurity was a punishment, but obscurity was your refinement. It was in the hidden places that I purified your motives, strengthened your resolve, and carved your character. It was there that I stripped away everything you thought made you strong, so that you would learn to lean on me alone. And now the strength that rises from within you is not borrowed from the world. It is born from the secret place. Identity, my child, is not discovered. It is revealed. And I am revealing yours piece by piece, layer by layer, breath by breath. You are more resilient than you know. You are more courageous than you realize. You are more spiritually sensitive than you give yourself credit for. You have endured storms that marked you, but did not break you. You have walked through fires that purified you, but did not consume you. You have felt the weight of seasons others never knew you carried. And yet here you stand, softer, wiser, stronger. Do not think lightly of what you have survived. Many would have collapsed under half the pressure you carried. But you continued. You persisted. You kept moving even when you were walking through shadows and uncertainty. You prayed even when you felt nothing. You worshiped even when you were hurting. You stayed faithful even when you did not feel strong. That is not weakness. That is spiritual maturity. Your identity is not only who you are, but who you are becoming. And you are becoming someone the enemy fears, someone heaven trusts, someone darkness cannot manipulate, someone whose presence carries peace because it carries me. But to walk fully in this identity, you must release the false version of yourself that you have been carrying. The version shaped by fear, the version shaped by betrayal, the version shaped by rejection, the version shaped by past failures. Oh no, Mom. Lay it down now. It is too small for who you truly are. It cannot contain the destiny I am placing before you. You were not made to live in the shadows of who you used to be. You were created to walk boldly in the fullness of who I designed you to become. Let the old self fall away so the new creation may rise. Child identity is not something you perform. It is something you embody. You do not earn it, you awaken to it. And awakening begins the moment you stop seeing yourself as the broken one, the insignificant one, the overlooked one. You are the beloved. You are the redeemed. You are the vessel of my presence. You are the one I have chosen for this moment in history. Do not shrink when I am calling you to rise. There will be moments ahead where the enemy tries to resurrect the old lies, telling you that you are too weak, too flawed, too unqualified. Ignore them. Lies lose all power the moment you refuse to agree with them. You are not who you were. You are not who your past says you are. You are not who others failed to see. You are who I say you are. And I say you are strong. I say you are loved. I say you are chosen. I say you are mine. The enemy attacks your identity because he cannot steal your calling. He can only convince you to abandon it. But you will not abandon it. Not in this season. Not after all the battles you've survived. Not after all the growth you walked through. My child, listen. Identity produces stability. When you know who you are, circumstances lose power over you. When you know who you are, you stop shrinking in rooms you were created to influence. When you know who you are, your confidence is no longer tied to how others respond to you. Identity anchors you. Identity strengthens you. Identity frees you. And now I am calling you into a season where identity and authority will flow together, where your actions will finally reflect the truth of who you are, where your words will carry weight because your spirit is aligned with my truth, where your prayers will carry fire because your heart is anchored in my presence. This is your becoming, not a future dream, an unfolding reality. Now breathe, beloved. Receive this truth into your spirit. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not disqualified. You are right where you need to be for what I am about to do next. The story is not delayed. You are being prepared. Walk forward now, not as the version of yourself the world tried to define, but as the beloved I have chosen, strengthened, and called by name. Your identity is secure, your future is written, and your spirit is ready. My child, now that your identity is being restored and the truth of who you are is settling into the deepest layers of your spirit, I must take you into a territory that will shape the rest of your journey, the territory of surrender. This word has been misunderstood, feared, and resisted by many of my children, yet it is the gateway to the freedom and power they have spent their lives searching for. Surrender is not losing control. Surrender is trusting the one who holds everything. There have been battles you fought with your own strength because you believed you had to. There were burdens you carried on your shoulders because you thought no one else would understand. There were decisions you tried to force because you feared what would happen if you paused long enough to let me take the lead. You have exhausted yourself not because you were weak, but because you were never meant to fight alone. Come closer, beloved. I am not calling you into surrender to take anything from you. I am calling you into surrender so I can give you what you cannot receive while your hands are clenched. Surrender is not the loss of control. It is the restoration of divine alignment. It is choosing to let me carry what has been crushing your spirit. It is trusting my timing even when it feels slow. It is believing my plan even when yours feels more logical. It is resting in my arms even when your world is shaking. You have held on so tightly to expectations, to timelines, to outcomes, to people, to fears, to old wounds. to the version of yourself you believed was required for survival. But child, clenched fists cannot receive new blessings. Hardened hearts cannot hold new wine, and fearful minds cannot embrace new revelation. This is the moment where I am calling you to release your grip, not because you are failing, but because you are being promoted. Surrender is the graduation of trust. It is the moment where you stop trying to predict every possibility and instead allow me to lead you step by step. It is where you stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios and begin expecting divine intervention. It is where you stop asking, "What if it all falls apart?" and begin declaring, "What if God comes through like He always has?" You have survived long seasons where surrender felt dangerous because people misused your trust. You gave pieces of your heart to those who did not steward them well. You opened your soul to those who handled it carelessly. And now the thought of letting go feels like risking heartbreak all over again. But I am not asking you to surrender to people. I am asking you to surrender to me. I do not break trust. I heal it. I do not take lightly what you place in my hands. I hold it with a tenderness the world cannot imitate. Child, surrender is not passive. It is not spiritual laziness. It is not resignation. It is the fiercest form of faith. It is the quiet yet unwavering declaration that God's way is better than mine. It is choosing peace over panic, patience over pressure, stillness over striving. It is allowing me to fight battles that were never meant to be yours. There are situations in your life right now that you have tried to fix with all your strength. You have strategized, you have worried, you have overthought, you have replayed conversations in your mind, you have tried to control outcomes that were never in your control. And yet nothing has shifted, nothing has moved, nothing has changed. Why? Because some battles are not won by effort, they are won by surrender. Let me show you something sacred. The moment you let go, heaven moves. The moment you stop trying to force an answer, I begin arranging one. The moment you stop striving to open a door, I unlock doors you did not even know existed. Surrender is the key that activates supernatural intervention. And you are now entering a season where I will do more with your surrender than you ever accomplished through striving. There is a peace waiting for you that you have never fully tasted. Peace that does not waver with circumstances. Peace that does not crumble under pressure. Peace that remains steady even when life is unpredictable. This peace does not come from having everything figured out. It comes from trusting the one who does. And this trust is born in surrender. Let me speak directly to your heart now. There is something you have been holding on to tightly, so tightly that your spirit has grown weary. You have prayed about it, worried about it, fought for it, cried over it. You have begged for clarity, for closure, for answers. But I am telling you now, the answer will not come through more striving. The answer will come when you place it fully in my hands. Do not fear disappointment. Do not fear the unknown. Do not fear the future. Fear loses its power over surrendered hearts. Worry loses its voice in surrendered minds. Anxiety loses its grip on surrendered souls. What you surrender to me, I guard. What you release to me, I redeem. What you trust me with, I transform. And child, understand this. Surrender does not mean inaction. It means obedience. It means listening when I whisper go, and listening just as closely when I whisper wait. It means trusting that delays are not denials and redirections are not rejections. It means believing that even when you cannot see the purpose, I am weaving one. Even when you cannot trace my hand, you can trust my heart. Surrender is the soil where miracles grow. It is the field where breakthroughs blossom. It is the place where disappointments are transformed into testimonies. The world tells you to take control. The enemy tells you to fear losing control. But I tell you, release control and you will finally see my glory. You have been asking for guidance. You have been asking for clarity. You have been asking for direction. And child, now I tell you the truth you have needed the most. Guidance flows from surrender. Clarity flows from surrender. Strength flows from surrender. Destiny unfolds from surrender. So breathe deeply now. Place your fears, your expectations, your unanswered questions, your timelines, your hopes, your wounds. Place them all in my hands, and hear this as the whisper of heaven. You are safe surrendering to me. You will never lose anything by trusting me. You will only gain what was meant for your journey, your healing, your destiny. Walk forward not with clenched fists, but with open hands. Not with fear, but with faith. Not with desperation, but with calm assurance. You are not losing control. You are returning it to the only one who can carry it. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into divine alignment. You are not surrendering your strength. You are stepping into mine. My child, now that you have laid your fears and expectations in my hands, there is a deeper reality I must awaken within you, one that will carry you through every season that comes next. For surrender, identity, and authority form a foundation. But what I am about to reveal to you now will become your anchor in the winds that will soon rise. This is the truth I need you to hold. You are never walking through your battles alone. My presence is woven into the very fabric of your journey, and even when you cannot feel me, I am closer than the breath in your lungs. There have been moments when you looked around and wondered why the battle felt so intense. Moments where you questioned why the burden pressed so heavily on your chest. Moments where you whispered, "Lord, where are you?" Not out of rebellion, but out of exhaustion. And child, I heard every whisper. I felt every tremble of your heart. I counted every tear that slipped from your eyes in the quiet hours of the night. You thought you were fighting alone, but you were held every second. You see only the surface of your situation, but I see the entire spiritual landscape. You feel the pressure of the moment, but I see the victory being prepared for you. You feel the weight of the fire, but I see the gold being formed within you. You have never taken a single step without my hand steadying your path. And now I need you to walk forward with the unshakable confidence that my presence is not a feeling. It is a fact. There were seasons where I hid in the shadows not to distance myself, but to strengthen you. Seasons where I allowed silence to deepen your roots. Seasons where I let the wind blow so your foundation would grow stronger. You mistook my silence for absence, but silence was the classroom where your faith matured. You learned to listen for my whispers. You learned to walk even when your emotions wavered. You learned that your faith must not be built on feelings, but on truth. My presence does not move with your emotions. My guidance does not fade when you feel weak. My love does not shift when your heart feels heavy. My plans do not collapse when you make mistakes. I am steady. I am constant. I am unchanging. And even in your darkest moments, I was holding you, sometimes carrying you, through valleys you did not even realize you were walking through. Child, I need you to understand this. You were not preserved through storms because you were strong. You were preserved because my hand was over you. There were battles meant to destroy you that never touched you because I stood between you and the blow. There were traps set for your downfall that collapsed before you reached them. There were decisions you almost made that would have broken you, but I pulled you back at the last second. You have no idea how many dangers I have shielded you from that you never saw. My presence has been your unseen protection. My mercy has been your constant companion. My grace has been the light guiding you even when your path felt dim. And now I will teach you something sacred: how to live with the awareness of my presence instead of uncertainty about my plans. For when you know I am with you, the unknown loses its power to intimidate you. You have looked at the future with fear, wondering how you will handle what is coming. But child, the strength you will have tomorrow is not the strength you feel today. I supply strength for each day as it comes. You do not need tomorrow's strength today. I will pour it out exactly when you need it, never too early, never too late. Stop imagining tomorrow without me in it. Every fear grows when you forget my presence. Every anxiety deepens when you imagine a future where you stand alone. But hear me, you will never stand alone. Let me reveal something deeper now. My presence is not only your comfort, it is your power. When you walk into a room, you do not walk in empty. You walk in carrying heaven's authority. You walk in carrying my peace. You walk in carrying my wisdom. You walk in carrying my protection. This is why some places never felt right to you. I was pulling you away. This is why certain people drifted from your life. I was shielding you. This is why opportunities closed. I had something better aligned for your spirit. You must stop interpreting every closed door as rejection. Some doors closed to protect you from pain. Some doors closed because they were too small for your calling. Some doors closed because the path behind them would have drained your spirit. And child, if you could see what I protected you from, you would thank me for every no that felt disappointing. You have prayed for my will, but often feared it. But my will is not designed to take from you. It is designed to bless you. It does not shrink your life, it expands it. It does not diminish your purpose, it reveals it. It does not chain your heart, it frees it. You have nothing to fear in my will, because my will is the place where you are most fully alive. My presence will go before you in ways you have not yet experienced. Where you step, I will step. Where you speak, I will breathe. Where you move, I will guide. Where you fear, I will reassure. Where you struggle, I will strengthen. Where you surrender, I will transform. You will feel my nearness not only in quiet moments of worship, but in the ordinary moments of your day. In your work, in your relationships, in your decisions, in your rest, I am there. You will begin to notice the subtle ways I speak to you, the peace that settles when something is right, the unrest that stirs when something is wrong, the gentle whisper that nudges you away from danger, the unexpected clarity that drops into your spirit at the perfect moment. This is how I lead my children, not through fear, not through pressure, but through peace. Beloved, I want you to walk into the next season with a heart anchored in this truth. You are surrounded by my love, which cannot fail, surrounded by my wisdom, which cannot be deceived, surrounded by my strength, which cannot be shaken, surrounded by my presence, which cannot be removed. Nothing ahead of you is stronger than the one who walks beside you. Nothing behind you is greater than the one who redeemed you. Nothing around you is more powerful than the one who covers you. You are safe, you are guarded, you are held, not because life is easy, but because I am faithful. Walk forward now, not with trembling uncertainty, but with holy confidence. Not with fear of the unknown, but with awareness of the one who knows everything. Not with anxiety about what might change, but with trust in the one who never changes. You are not stepping into darkness. You are stepping into destiny, and my presence will light every step. My child, now that you have awakened to my presence and learned to rest in the certainty of my nearness, I must draw your attention to a truth that will transform how you move through the world. Your battles are no longer just about you. You have been entrusted with something sacred, something weighty, something that demands a heart prepared and a spirit fortified. You are stepping into a season where your life will ripple beyond your own story, where your obedience will touch lives you do not even know, where your faithfulness will open doors for others who are too weary to knock. There are people assigned to your voice, people assigned to your presence, people whose breakthrough is connected to your courage. You have asked me many times, why is my battle so heavy? Why is the pressure so intense? Why do I feel the enemy's breath at my neck more than others? And today I reveal the answer. The weight of your warfare is a sign of the weight of your calling. The enemy fights hardest against those who will rescue many. You are not ordinary. Your spirit was designed with capacity that exceeds what you believe about yourself. The sensitivity you carry, the compassion that overwhelms you, the spiritual vision that sees what others ignore. All of these are indicators of your assignment. You were created to stand in the gap, to intercede, to protect, to carry light where darkness gathers. And because of this, The enemy has tried repeatedly to break you before you reach this moment. But here you are, still standing, still believing, still reaching for me even when your strength was low. This alone terrifies hell. Your endurance is a weapon. Your persistence is a strike against darkness. Your survival is not accidental. It is intentional. Every attack you endured was meant to destroy you, but instead, it strengthened your capacity. Every setback reshaped your character. Every loss expanded your compassion. Now you carry a depth the world desperately needs. Child, listen carefully. The heaviness you often feel is not always your own. There are days you wake with a weight you cannot explain, a sorrow that came from nowhere, a pressure that does not belong to your season. That is because you are stepping into the mantle of an intercessor. You are feeling what others cannot handle, sensing what others ignore, carrying what others are too fragile to lift. This is not a curse, it is an anointing. It is the sign that heaven trusts you with spiritual responsibility. You have prayed for purpose, yet recoiled at the weight of it. You have asked me to use you, then wondered why the burden feels so real. You wanted influence, but not the warfare that comes with it. You wanted to carry light, but not feel the darkness that rises against it. But beloved, purpose is not a comfortable assignment. It is a sacred one. It stretches you. It shapes you. It costs you. Yet it rewards you in ways nothing else can. I need you to see something now. What you went through was never just about survival. It was about training. You learned how to pray when your world felt unstable so that you could pray with authority when someone else's world collapses. You learned how to cling to peace when anxiety tried to suffocate you so you could guide others into peace when panic overwhelms them. You learned how to worship through tears so you could teach others to praise through storms. Everything you endured added a tool to your spiritual arsenal. And now I am positioning you to use these tools, not for recognition, not for applause, but for rescue. The world is entering a season where hearts are breaking faster than they can be healed, where fear grows louder than truth, where darkness spreads subtly yet aggressively. And I am raising warriors whose weapons are not made of steel, but of compassion, wisdom, humility, and discernment. You are one of these warriors, but understand this. Battle does not always look like noise, confrontation, or dramatic spiritual moments. Often, your greatest victories will happen in silence, in the quiet decisions no one sees, in the prayers you whisper when no one is around, in the small acts of kindness that shift someone's entire day, in the loving word that stops someone from giving up, in the forgiveness you choose even when the wound is deep. These are battles won in the hidden places that echo loudly in heaven. You have thought your impact was small because you measured it through human eyes. But I measure impact differently. I measure it in obedience, in faithfulness, in willingness. When you show up with a sincere heart, heaven moves. When you speak truth in love, seeds are planted. When you stay surrendered in difficult moments, the atmosphere shifts. Your life creates ripples that stretch farther than your understanding. My child, the mantle on your life is not meant to crush you. It is meant to enlarge you. It stretches your capacity. It deepens your compassion. It expands your endurance. It awakens spiritual gifts that would have stayed dormant without the pressure that provoked them. Pressure did not break you. It activated you. Warfare did not destroy you. It refined you. Pain did not bury you. It resurrected you with greater sensitivity and greater insight. Now I need you to stop underestimating yourself. Stop questioning your significance. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop stepping back when I am calling you forward. You have been trained for this moment, even if you did not realize it. You are stepping into a season where your presence itself will bring deliverance to others. Not through effort, but through overflow. Not through performance, but through authenticity. Not through force, but through anointing. When you walk into a room, peace will settle. When you speak, clarity will rise. When you pray, chains will weaken. When you worship, atmospheres will shift. This is not because you are powerful in yourself, but because you are surrendered, and surrender magnifies my power in you. The world needs vessels of peace, and you have been chosen to be one. But do not fear the responsibility. Do not fear the warfare that comes with it. Do not fear the weight of your assignment. I will equip you for every battle. I will strengthen you for every task. I will surround you with heavenly protection no enemy can penetrate. You are not walking into war alone. You are walking into it with angels at your side, with my spirit within you, with my authority covering you. Child, remember this always. You are not carrying this mantle by accident. You were chosen for such a time as this. Your spirit was shaped for it. Your heart was refined for it. Your journey prepared you for it. Step into it boldly. Step into it humbly. Step into it knowing that heaven has already gone before you. My child, now that the mantle of spiritual responsibility has begun to rest upon your shoulders, I must reveal another truth, one that will anchor your spirit and steady your heart. You have entered a season where I am not only strengthening you for battles ahead, but I am also rebuilding the inner structure of your being. You cannot become who you are called to be with the internal architecture of who you used to be. The old frameworks cannot hold the new glory. You have sensed this, haven't you? The internal shifting, the gentle pulling, the holy dissatisfaction with things that once felt comfortable. You have felt the stretching inside your soul, the quiet urge to rise higher, to go deeper, to stand stronger. This is not restlessness. This is divine renovation. I am removing what once served you but cannot sustain you. I am chiseling away beliefs that kept you small. I am uprooting insecurities that limited your movement. I am shaping you to carry a weight of purpose you didn't know you were created for. Child, the reason you have felt internal pressure is because I am expanding your spiritual capacity. You prayed for breakthrough, but you did not realize that breakthrough begins within. I must build your inner world before I enlarge your outer one. I must strengthen the foundations of your identity so that when I elevate you, you will not collapse under the weight of influence. You see, destiny is not just about doors opening, it is about hearts being ready, and your heart is being prepared. Inch by inch, layer by layer, moment by moment, through conviction, through clarity, through quiet pulling, through encounters that awaken something ancient inside you, through whispers that remind you that you were born for more. You have felt it in ways that cannot be explained, like something rising from the deepest part of you. That rising is your spirit remembering its assignment. You were not created to blend in. You were not designed to stay small. You were not meant to carry the weight of past seasons into future ones. You are being transformed, and transformation requires the undoing of what once felt normal. You have prayed for growth, but growth always disrupts comfort. You have prayed for strength, but strength is forged in pressure. You have prayed for clarity, but clarity often comes through isolation. Do not resent the moments that feel unfamiliar. Do not fear the internal tension. This is what becoming feels like. This is what elevation feels like. This is what alignment feels like. You are not falling apart. You are breaking open. You are not being lost. You are being found. You are not unraveling. You are unfolding into who you always were beneath the wounds, beneath the fear, beneath the survival instincts life taught you to rely on. Child, listen. You are stepping into a version of yourself that heaven has been waiting for. A version unafraid of calling, unshaken by criticism, unmoved by comparison. A version that no longer hides in the shadows of insecurity or shrinks to make others comfortable. A version that knows who they are and whose they are. You are rising, even if the rising feels strange. You are transforming, even if the transformation feels quiet. You are stepping into identity, even if the steps feel uncertain. And I need you to trust this process. Trust what I am healing. Trust what I am cleansing. Trust what I am shifting. You have held on to certain mindsets because they once protected you. You survived seasons that tried to take your life, and your heart built walls as a way to stay safe. But those walls, while once necessary, are now restrictions. They are keeping you from fullness. They are keeping you from receiving love, receiving peace, receiving purpose freely. So I am dismantling them, not to expose you, but to expand you, not to leave you unguarded, but to leave you unburdened, not to take away your defenses, but to replace them with my presence. I am making room for the new by clearing out the old. And yes, clearing hurts, releasing hurts, but nothing I take from you is ever loss. It is exchange. It is upgrade. It is transformation disguised as discomfort. Child, there is another reason for the inner reconstruction. The places I am taking you require emotional resilience, spiritual maturity, mental clarity, heart stability. Your influence will reach people who are wounded, anxious, lost, and broken. If your heart is still anchored in old hurts, their pain will overwhelm you. If your identity is still fragile, their words will shake you. If your soul is still tangled in past disappointments, their expectations will crush you. So I am strengthening your spirit, not because you are weak, but because you are chosen. Do you feel it now? The places inside you that once felt raw are beginning to gain strength. The thoughts that once tormented you are losing power. The memories that once defined you are fading into distance. This is healing in motion. This is restoration manifesting. This is breakthrough beginning beneath the surface. You are not the same person you were even 1 year ago. Heaven has been at work in you. And hear me, I am not just making you whole, I am making you ready. Ready to lead, ready to love, ready to serve, ready to rise, ready to step into the fullness of destiny without flinching under its demands, ready to walk into blessing without sabotaging it with old beliefs, ready to receive favor without shrinking from it out of fear of failure. Your inner world is being rebuilt so you can sustain what I am sending. Blessings do not break people. Broken foundations do. This is why I am restoring your foundations, clearing your emotional clutter, healing your memories, softening your heart, strengthening your spirit. You prayed, Lord, prepare me. And preparation is exactly what this is. You just didn't realize preparation would feel like pruning. But pruning is not punishment, it is promotion. I cut back what is unnecessary so I can grow what is essential. I remove what drains you so I can amplify what strengthens you. I silence old voices so you can hear my voice clearly. I close old chapters so your eyes will stop searching for meaning in places that can no longer feed your spirit. And now I say this with tenderness. Stop grieving the versions of you that I am asking you to release. They served you once, but they cannot go where I am taking you. Lay them down with gratitude, not guilt. Let them rest. You are not betraying your past by stepping into your future. You are honoring it by outgrowing it. My child, you are becoming new. Not a new identity, but a truer identity. Not a different person, but a fuller version of the one I created from the beginning. And this transformation will not stop. It will continue until you are aligned with the fullness of my design, radiating the sound of heaven in every space you step into. So breathe, trust, lean in. The inner work is holy, even when it feels heavy. You are in the center of my hands, and I am not finished shaping you. The glory I am preparing for you will require the strength I am building within you right now. Do not rush this. Do not fear this. Allow me to finish what I began. My beloved child, draw near, for there is still a depth within you that I must touch. You have walked with me through valleys of fear, through questions that shook the foundations of your soul, through wounds so old you believed they were part of your identity. And yet, even after all I have spoken, there remains a silent grief inside you, an ache you have never found words for. But I have heard it. I have always heard it. There is a place inside your heart that you have kept hidden even from yourself. A chamber sealed with quiet resignation, where you buried the moments that broke you. You thought ignoring them would make them disappear, but they have lingered like shadows at the edges of your spirit. Today I shine my light there, not to expose you, but to free you. For I am the God who does not heal halfway. I am the God who restores completely. You have learned to cope, but you have not learned to breathe freely. You have learned to continue, but not to truly live. You have learned to function, but not to flourish. You have survived by holding pieces of yourself hostage, hoping no one would notice the trembling beneath your strength. But I noticed. And today I say to you with the authority of heaven, it is time to rise from survival into wholeness. There are memories that still pull on you. Moments where you were told you were not enough. Seasons where you begged to be seen, but were overlooked. Days when you cried in silence because you believed your pain was an inconvenience to others. You carried these moments like fragments of glass under your skin. You adapted. You built walls. You learned how to pretend nothing hurt. But pretending is not healing, my child. Let me reach the wounds you hid even from your prayers. The disappointment you never expressed because you feared I would be angry. The longing you suppressed because you believed it was too late. The grief you learned to swallow because no one stayed long enough to understand it. I am here now. I am not leaving. I am not impatient with your process. I am not frustrated with your slowness. I am not surprised by your pain. I am your Father, and I am here to restore you. You have blamed yourself for things that were never your fault. The rejection that poisoned your confidence. The betrayal that made you question your worth. The words spoken over you that did not come from my heart. You internalized them as truth, though they were lies. And these lies shaped the way you carried yourself. But hear me, anything that diminishes you did not come from me. My child, I saw the moment your heart first broke, and I did not abandon you there. I sat beside you when you cried into your pillow so no one would hear. I watched over you when your hands trembled from the weight you carried alone. I held you when you felt too ashamed to pray. I whispered to your spirit even when your mind was too exhausted to listen. You have never suffered outside of my presence, not even for a moment. But today I am doing more than comforting you. I am resetting you. I am rewiring the way your heart sees itself. I am lifting off the shame that has clung to you like chains. I am healing the fracture lines beneath the surface of your strength. This is not a temporary relief. It is a holy reconstruction. You cannot step into your calling carrying the old conclusions you made about yourself in moments of pain. You cannot walk in the authority I have given you while believing you are still broken beyond repair. You cannot fully embrace destiny while still living under the vocabulary of your wounds. So listen, I am rewriting your identity from the inside out. The heaviness you feel is not who you are. It is what happened to you. The fear you still battle is not who you are. It is the echo of past harm. The insecurity that whispers lies is not who you are. It is the residue of old battles, not the verdict of heaven. I do not speak to you according to where you were wounded. I speak to you according to where I am leading you. And where I am leading you requires strength. Not the strength of pretending, but the strength of truth. Not the strength of mass, but the strength of identity. Not the strength of self-reliance, but the strength that comes from my spirit breathing life into your soul again. So breathe. Breathe deeply. Let the stale air of old memories leave your lungs. Let the weight of unspoken grief fall from your shoulders. Let the armor you forged in moments of fear slide off your spirit. I am here, and where my presence is, healing is not optional, it is inevitable. You wonder, how do I heal? You heal by letting me love you in the places you've never allowed anyone to enter. You heal by acknowledging what hurt you, not to reopen the wound, but to hand it to the one who can finally close it. You heal by surrendering the idea that pain is your identity. You heal by receiving the truth of who you really are in me. My beloved child, you are not fragile. You are chosen. You are not damaged. You are being rebuilt. You are not forgotten. You are engraved on my hands. You are not behind. You are being prepared. You are not disqualified. You are being refined. There has never been a moment where I looked at you and saw failure. I have only ever seen the story I am writing within you. Let today be the day healing becomes your reality, not your hope. Let this moment be the moment the past loses its grip. Let my voice drown out everything that ever tried to diminish you. You are mine, and what belongs to me cannot remain broken. Now rise, child, not as the one who survived, but as the one who is being restored. Not as the one who hides pain, but as the one who is being healed. Walk forward with the quiet confidence of someone rebuilt by the hands of God Himself. Your healing has begun, and nothing can stop what I have started in you. My beloved child, now that I have begun the healing within you, there is something deeper you must understand. Something that has been shadowing your steps for years without you ever naming it. You have tried to heal not only from what happened to you, but also from what you believed you caused. You carry a quiet guilt that you were never meant to carry. There are moments in your past where you whispered to yourself, "It was my fault. I should have done more. I should have known better. I should have been stronger." These thoughts became a verdict in your heart, a silent sentence you lived under, a weight that pressed on your spirit in ways even you did not fully recognize. But listen to me now. I am breaking that false guilt off of you. You have carried responsibility for the actions of others as if you were the one who failed. You took on shame that never belonged to you. You assumed blame for situations shaped by broken people, by broken circumstances, by broken systems, not by your inadequacy. And that false burden intertwined itself with your identity. But today I am severing that tie. You have held yourself to a standard of perfection I never asked of you. You expect more from yourself than I do. You look at your past decisions with the harsh judgment of someone who forgets their own humanity. You forget you were learning. You forget you were growing. You forget you were surviving the best way you knew how. And you have been punishing yourself ever since. But I am not punishing you. I never was. I see your humanity through the lens of mercy, not accusation. I see your weakness through the lens of compassion, not disappointment. I see your past not as a monument to failure, but as a journey toward redemption. My child, you must learn to see yourself through my eyes, not through the distorted lens of regret. There are moments you replay in your mind, as if you could go back and rewrite the story. The conversation you wish you handled differently, the opportunity you did not recognize until it was gone, the season where fear held you back, the relationship you didn't know how to protect. These are not evidence of failure. They are evidence of your humanity. You do not grow by living flawlessly. You grow by living faithfully, and you were faithful even when you did not feel strong. You were learning even when you felt lost. You were becoming even when you felt broken. Do not despise the version of you who was still learning to walk. I never have. Hear me. You are not the villain of your story. You are the one I have been redeeming all along. You are the one I have carried in your darkest hour. You are the one I have protected even when you blamed yourself. You are the one I have chosen, not because of your perfection, but because of your heart. There have been seasons where you believed I was silent. You prayed and felt nothing. You sought direction but received no clarity. You asked for answers and received only more questions. And you assumed the silence meant distance, disappointment, or disapproval. But my silence was never abandonment. It was formation. When a seed is planted, it is hidden beneath the soil, not because it is forgotten, but because it is becoming. Some of your most painful seasons of silence were the seasons I was transforming your roots. deepening them, strengthening them, preparing you for the weight of the calling I placed on your life. I was not ignoring you. I was establishing you. And now that you are healing, now that the lies have begun to loosen their grip, now that your heart is softening again beneath my hands, you are beginning to hear me more clearly. Not because I speak louder, but because your wounds no longer drown out my whisper. My child, I know you fear disappointing me. You feel that if you misstep, I will withdraw. If you struggle, I will grow weary. If you fall, I will change my mind about you. But hear this truth. My love for you does not fluctuate with your performance. My love is anchored in my character, not your consistency. I am not watching your life with a clipboard. I am not tallying your mistakes. I am not waiting for you to fix yourself so that I can draw near again. I am the God who stays. I am the father who runs toward the returning child. I am the shepherd who carries the wounded sheep on his shoulders. You keep thinking, I must do better for God to be pleased with me. But child, you have misunderstood. I am already pleased, not because you are perfect, but because you are mine. Your desire for me, even in your weakness, is a fragrance that rises to my throne. You are harder on yourself than I have ever been on you. The accusations you speak to your own heart are harsher than the voice of heaven. You call yourself things I would never call you. But today I rewrite those labels. I tear down those false names spoken over your spirit. You are not too much. You are not enough. You are not behind. You are not broken beyond repair. You are my child, my creation, my delight. You have feared that your flaws disqualify you, but it is your humility that positions you. You have feared that your past ruined your purpose, but your past is what I will use to fuel your purpose. You have feared that your weakness is a liability, but your weakness is where my power rests most beautifully. The gift I am giving you now is peace, not the fragile peace of circumstances, but the deep-rooted peace of knowing that nothing you have done has pushed me away, and nothing you will do can break my love for you. I want you to breathe in that peace the way a weary traveler breathes in fresh air after a long, suffocating journey. Your guilt does not intimidate me. Your questions do not overwhelm me. Your fears do not frustrate me. I am not watching your struggle, wondering if you will ruin my plans. I am the one strengthening you. I am the one guiding you. I am the one rebuilding the places in you that life tried to break. And now, beloved child, hear this last truth for today. Your healing will not end with you. The restoration I am pouring into your life will ripple outward. Your story will become someone else's hope. Your testimony will unlock someone else's chains. The compassion you gain from suffering will become a lifeline for others drowning in their own storms. I am not just healing you. I am preparing you. I am shaping you into someone who carries freedom wherever they go. The pain that once suffocated you will become the authority you walk in. The sorrow that once weighed you down will become the wisdom that lifts others up. Rise, child, not as someone trying to prove your worth, but as someone stepping into the worth I already declared over you. You are forgiven. You are chosen. You are loved. You are mine. And what is mine cannot remain broken. My beloved child, now that the weight of guilt has been lifted and the chains of your past no longer cling to you, there is one final truth I must place within your spirit. Truth that will shape the rest of your days. Truth that will anchor you when storms rise. Truth that will ignite a fire in you that nothing can extinguish. For you have been healed, you have been restored, and now you must rise into the purpose for which you were formed. You have walked through fire, but the fire did not consume you. You have walked through waters, but the waters did not sweep you away. You have walked through nights so dark you feared dawn would never return. But dawn came. It came because I commanded it to. It came because I never left you. It came because your story is not one of defeat, but of resurrection. And now, beloved, resurrection is your identity. Everything the enemy tried to use to break you has become the material I will use to build you. Everything that once wounded you will become the very place where my glory shines through. Everything that once felt like an ending will prove to be the birthplace of destiny. You are the living evidence that what the enemy meant for evil, I turn into good. But hear me now and hear me deeply. Your healing was never meant to stop with you. What I have done within you, I will now do through you. The comfort I poured into your wounds will become the comfort you offer others. The wisdom I carved into you through suffering will become the guidance you speak into weary hearts. The peace I planted in your soul will become the atmosphere you carry into rooms that have forgotten what peace feels like. Child, you are stepping into a season of divine assignment. Not an assignment of pressure, but of purpose. Not an assignment of striving, but of overflow. Not an assignment built on your strength, but on my spirit. Everything you endured has positioned you. Everything you lost has prepared you. Everything that hurt you has shaped you. You are ready. Even when you don't feel ready, heaven knows you are. You will begin to feel a pull, a holy stirring, deep within your spirit, a sense that you were created for something more than survival, more than routine, more than existing quietly in the background. The world around you may not understand it, but your spirit understands because it is awakening to the sound of my voice calling you forward. Do not ignore that stirring. Do not silence it. Do not assume it is ambition or imagination. It is the echo of eternity within you. It is the memory of who you were designed to be long before pain tried to alter your path. It is destiny rising. You will notice changes in your desires, your priorities, your conversations, your atmosphere. What once drained you will no longer hold your attention. What once intimidated you will no longer shrink your confidence. What once broke you will no longer have access to your heart. For I have fortified you. I have refined you. I have rebuilt you from the inside out. You may wonder, Lord, what exactly is my purpose? But purpose is not a single moment. It is a posture. It is not a spotlight. It is a lifestyle. It is not always loud or dramatic. It is often quiet, consistent, faithful. Your purpose is to carry my presence into every space you enter, to bring heaven's fragrance into earthly rooms, to love deeply, to speak truth gently, to stand boldly, to walk humbly, to live in such a way that others encounter me through you. You do not need a stage to fulfill your calling. You do not need a title to carry authority. You do not need recognition to make impact. Every act of kindness, every word spoken in wisdom, every moment of compassion, every private prayer you lift for someone else, these are victories in the kingdom. These are the threads that weave destiny. But know this, you will also begin to walk in favor. Favor you did not earn by perfection, but by surrender. Doors will open, not because you forced them, but because you followed me. Opportunities will arise, not because you chased them, but because destiny knows your name. People will be drawn to your presence, not because of charisma, but because they sense the healing I have placed within you. And yes, beloved child, there will be moments of resistance. For as you rise, darkness will notice. As you step into purpose, the enemy will whisper old lies. As you walk in confidence, insecurity will try to resurface. But none of these things will prevail, because you are no longer who you were. You are no longer living from wounds. You are living from renewal. You are no longer surviving. You are being strengthened. You are no longer hiding. You are emerging. I have placed a shield around you, a fire within you, and angels beside you. Your steps are ordered. Your path is protected. Your future is secure. Nothing can stop what I am unfolding in your life. No attack will derail it. No person will hinder it. No circumstance will overturn it. What I have spoken over you is final. Look at how far you've come. Look at what you've survived. Look at what no longer has power over you. Look at the strength rising in your spirit. You are walking into a new season, not as the version of you shaped by pain, but as the version shaped by purpose. My child, your life is about to shine, not in the fleeting way the world defines success, but in the eternal way heaven defines impact. You will illuminate dark places without even trying. You will speak hope into weary hearts without even planning. You will change lives simply by being who I created you to be. This is not pressure. This is grace. And now I speak this blessing over you. May your heart remain steady. May your spirit remain open. May your confidence remain anchored in me. May your steps remain guided by my voice. May your life remain aligned with heaven's purpose. Walk forward, my beloved child. Walk boldly, walk freely, walk with expectation. Your story is not ending. It is beginning. The path ahead is filled with glory. The days ahead are filled with purpose. The future ahead is filled with divine appointments and holy opportunities. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into destiny. And remember this always. You are loved beyond measure, chosen with intention, protected with power, guided with wisdom, and strengthened with grace. Nothing will separate you from my love. Nothing will undo what I have done in you. Nothing will stop what I am about to bring through you. Rise now. Step into the fullness of who you are. Let your life magnify the one who saved you, healed you, restored you, and called you by name. You are mine, and I am with you now and forever. If this message touched you, let your heart respond. Like, share, subscribe, and comment to spread this word to others who need it. Your engagement helps this message reach another soul searching for hope.